right, we're ready to go. Hey everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is plugged in webinar number 2 where real estate meets the algorithm. My name is Nick Baldwin. Yeah, I have a name for it too.
I
It's
didn't even
it's
realize
it's
I was
pretty
number two.
impressive.
Like that's kind of, I'm nervous now.
Well, you're not my number 2. You're my number 1,
Oh,
but you're you're the number 2 episode in the series, which we do every other week, every 2, 3 weeks. Do you know Justin Himmelbaum?
I don't.
Oh, you don't? I gotta connect you. We had he's a Instagram guy. He's really good. You'd like him. We had him on last week. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. My name is Nick Baldwin, co-founder of Lab Coat Agents. I'm also the social media coach at Eisenhower Coaching and Training. And we've got a superstar. We've got a superstar on today, Kimberlee Meserve. She's so humble. Kimberlee, how are you doing? She's in Boston, and why don't you introduce yourself to everyone so I don't mess it up and embarrass you.
Okay, well, I hate introducing myself, but thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, then
And
I'll
thank you
make
for
something
having me.
up.
I feel like kind of intimidated now that I know I'm number two because I feel like there's a lot of pressure riding on that. Like I have to do a good job to create like a good trajectory for these. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because if this really
intimidating.
sucks, then we're
There might
just
not be
done.
a number three.
We're just done.
I don't know. Anyways, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be on here with you, my friend.
Yeah,
I
it's been a
am
while.
Kimberlee Meserve. I'm an agent in Boston and I run a small team here. And I've been selling real estate for about almost 10 years now. Just
Wow, 10
crazy.
years. You know what? I just hit 19.
Oh my God, I did not think you were that old.
I'm 46 years old. How old do you think I
You don't
am?
look a
Jeez.
day over
Oh,
32, especially with that beauty filter on.
thank you so much. What beauty filter? Wink, wink. I have no beauty filter whatsoever. This is my natural elegance. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Kimberlee is really starting, has gotten really heavy into YouTube. Don't worry, we're going to show you her YouTube channel in a little while. But Kimberlee, tell us real quick, just how many I know it's hasn't been that super long since you got into it, but since you've gotten into it, you're doing a lot of things right. What's your if you had to summarize your YouTube playbook like in one sentence, like who you target, what they're searching for, and the action that you want every viewer to take, what would you say that is? And it doesn't have to be one sentence. It can be
Oh my
multiple
gosh.
sentences.
Okay. I think it might make more sense if I start by sharing just like the story of how I got into
Okay,
YouTube.
let's do that.
That's okay.
So
And
let me
I'll answer
rephrase
your
that question.
question. I'll get to it.
Why
We'll
did you,
take on a little
yeah,
journey. Everything,
why'd you get into YouTube?
yeah, YouTube is about storytelling. So let's try that. So I actually kind of became known in the real estate industry as being like the first time homebuyer seminar person. And that was me for like many years. And
I
then,
remember all that.
yeah, I had the privilege of speaking at a lot of different events, on stage at KW stuff, panels, you name it. And it was fun. But then uh, the interest rate started to change. Our market has not really seen any type of decline like a lot of areas have. Like we are a very, very expensive market here. And first-time buyers have kind of gotten priced out a bit over the past few years. So about 2 years ago, I started to think long and hard about if I really wanted to be continuing to build my business off of that as my primary lead gen source. And the thing I loved about it was the opportunity to educate people. And I actually went to Mega Camp. Um, gosh, it was like maybe it was last year, a KW event. And I saw a panel about YouTube and I had been like paying attention to, the legends like Ken Pozek and those guys that are like doing it at a really high
The
level.
legends of YouTube.
Legends. And it just was something that I'm like, I know I need to do this. And I just like needed a kick in the butt of seeing other people successful at it too. So like Ken led the panel, but then there was other agents that were just like not too far into their YouTube journey and they were crushing it. And I think that gave me like a little bit more hope too, because I was like, oh, okay, like I don't need to commit to this for 5 years before I see anything. So that got me really excited. I came back and I actually last year was like just a few months postpartum with my first child, and finally was like, oh, like I need to just do this. Like I'm not gonna wait forever until I'm back in shape, until whatever excuse I can find because I'm like a person that just had a child and like not fitting into my pre-pregnancy clothes. And I bit the bullet and I actually hired a local videographer to do some videos. It was way too expensive. I wasted a ton of money. I had no idea what I was doing, but I did like two or three of those and kind of realized like, okay, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I actually ended up reaching out to one of the agents that was in one of those panels at the event and just kind of picked his brain and got connected with a few other people and figured out how to really streamline this. So it's really been since October of 2024, or what year is it? 2025
So
now?
yeah, so it's coming up on a
2024.
year.
Yeah, so that's when I started to get really serious and consistent with the channel and started to actually get leads from what I was doing. So to answer your question about like what the playbook is, I don't really know that we necessarily have
Maybe
like
the
a
playbook is the wrong word
playbook,
for it, but like
but
your client avatar.
yeah, so we have about three different client avatars that we focus on, and I would say the YouTube channel leans heavy in one direction, but also we sprinkle in content that applies to the other two. So like our underlying message for our three different ideal clients, which by the way, I can explain what they are. So the first one, internally, we call them the rich renters. So in Boston, we don't call it that in marketing, like external facing, but
You don't put the word out, hey,
we don't
rich
say, hey, are you a rich
renters.
renter? We actually last year just hit a record number of people that were making over $214,000 a year that were renting. And those people should not be renting. They should be owning a property and not
Right.
spending $4,000 or $5,000 a month on rent. So that's our first target client. The second is what we call like the move-up buyers. These are people that they bought their first starter home or condo. They want to move up, but they're heavy on equity in their current property. And because of our market conditions, it's not as easy as just list your house for sale contingent on finding something or put an offer in contingent on your home selling. Like neither of those things really work too well in our market. And so those people tend to feel stuck. And our job is to help them explore different creative ways that they can make that move possible and help them with this like pivotal lifestyle moment. So the underlying theme that you'll hear me talk about in all of the videos, like if you watch any of them, is that it's a wealth building fit, but also lifestyle decisions. And we talk about lifestyle a lot. And that also applies to our third demographic, which is people that are relocating to the area because they have no idea what to expect. Um, Especially if they're coming from not a city, do we live in the city? That sounds exciting, but maybe I haven't lived in a city before. Or do we live in the suburbs? And they've got all these different considerations, commutes, different, um, lifestyle choices. So we talk about that a lot. And I would say like the majority of our audience is probably in that relocation bucket, but we're starting to actually get a lot more local traction as well.
That's awesome. So, you've got around 500 subscribers, which is great. Your videos are reaching over 1,000 views, in some cases 5 or 6,000 views, which is great. So you must be using titles or thumbnails in the right way, which you are. But how are you researching what you feel would be interesting to those demographics? Like, how are you figuring out, okay, this would make a good video?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I was kind of just looking at what other agents were doing, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a cool idea with absolutely no rhyme or reason, which can be incredibly hit or miss. So if you look at any agent in any market and you're like, oh, that's like an interesting idea for video, I can apply that to my market. It could work or it could flop. And there's a couple things you have to consider. A lot of people get YouTube backwards. They think that the best way to do it is to base it on search keywords. And that's what I was doing in the beginning. The problem with that is it can often create instant virality with videos, but not long-term growth with videos. And so you actually want to focus on what's called like a growth strategy instead of a viral strategy. And growth videos may not pick up as quickly, but they have a lot more longevity. And that's when YouTube is recommending your videos. If someone watches something, it will recommend your video based on what they've been watching. And that's really how you start to grow your audience more too. So, a couple things you want to look at is basically like the views to subscribers ratio. So, if there's a video, let's say we have somebody with 10,000 subscribers. If they do a video that's fairly recent and it only has 2,000 views, that's actually probably not the best video to make, even though you're like, oh, it has 2,000 views. Like, that sounds great. So, that's actually like a negative views to subscribers. You want something where it's at least 2 to 3 times more views than they have subscribers, because that's where YouTube starts to
Yeah,
promote
starts
your
to
video.
recommend. Yeah, because usually I feel like it's something like 25 or 30, only 25 or 30% of your viewers are actually subscribed. That might even be a high number, right?
Yeah, I think we average just under 7,000 views a month, I believe.
Okay.
I could have that. It could be a week. I don't know, but
There's a
I
big
have no
difference
idea.
there.
I absolutely have no idea.
Could be
I'm
a
like,
day,
it's
maybe a
definitely not a
year.
day. I think it's maybe a month. That sounds right. We'll go
Yeah,
with
that's good
that.
though. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's more than most channels. Okay, so let's talk about some strategy. So obviously your titles matter, right?
Yep.
Because YouTube is a search engine, but your thumbnail. So how do you decide what to title some of these videos? Like so they're easier found. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah,
people are
so
searching for
that's
Boston.
that's really where that growth strategy comes in. So
Okay.
the way that I will figure out what I want is like, maybe I'm lacking inspiration. I might go look at what other agents in different markets are doing, and if they have a video that's kind of popped off on that like 2 to 3 times or more
Mm-hmm.
views to subscribers ratio, if that's something that I can, if let's say it's like you're in Michigan, Nick. You're like, is Michigan seeing a housing market recession? And that's like a very successful video for you. I might be like, oh, well, I could do that exact same video and just change Michigan to Boston. So it's not a lot of times, like if you see there's a video that's doing really well, you don't want to get too creative with the title and change it around.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to like swap out the like the name of the location. So that's one way. If I'm like lacking inspiration, I may go like look at what other agents are doing and see what's kind of popping off. Sometimes I'll also just, if I get a question pretty frequently from clients, I may take that question and pop it in the search bar and then see if somebody's done a video kind of similar to that question that would address it. And if there's like a title that's worked really well as a growth title, I may take that title. It's kind of a little bit of a trial and error in the beginning. And then as far as thumbnails are honestly like the bane of my existence. I not figured out a perfect formula for thumbnails yet. Um, you just have to test and test and test and test. And in the beginning, I was doing really well when I was focused on more of a viral title strategy because my videos weren't being shown to as many people. So my click-through rate was higher, which is good, right? But then when you realize, oh, it's a higher ratio based on a less amount of people that are being served that video to watch. So then once I switched to the growth strategy, the click-through ratio went down because more people are being served up this video, which it may not even apply to a lot of them. And so now it's just like a constant like trial and error of like A/B testing different titles to see what works, what doesn't. I don't have like any one set formula.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it could almost make you mentally insane.
It can, but also it can be fun. Like, so you just kind of, the hardest part is like the less subscribers you have, the longer you have to give A/B tests for a trial run. So, like
Yeah.
right now, because I have under 500 subscribers, it's usually a 10-day trial. I would love it if it was like a day. I could just be like running trials all over the place and
Right, right,
popping them
right.
out. So it's like such a slow period of time to collect that data.
You have to give it time to pick it up. So on YouTube, well, actually, let me go back. So then what kind of videos that you're making do you feel perform the best? Like, what's the subject usually?
Yeah, so I find that the videos that perform better are a little bit more general, like either market specific or just like general to the area. Should you move here? What are things to avoid? What are things to watch out for? Right now, we're on a cadence of doing one video a week that's a little bit more general to the area, whether it's market update, it's north of the city, south of the city, what are the best suburbs, what are the best neighborhoods, things that are like I call those more general. And
Yeah.
then the other video, the second video we do a week is specific to one neighborhood or town. So I those don't perform as well, but I am okay with that right now because I'm on a little bit of a mission to just like build up a massive content bank because
Hmm.
they do help me in other ways. So if I'm talking to someone and they're like, "Oh, are you familiar with this?" or what do you know about that? Or should I live here? I can literally send them a video and be like, look, I did a video on this. And that's actually won me some listings too, where
Yeah.
they're like, oh, are you familiar with this neighborhood? And I'm like, yeah, here's the video I did on that if you want to check it out.
And they're like, wow, she's an expert in that community.
Yeah.
All right. So we know that YouTube um has very high intent leads because there's really no lead capture. I mean, built into YouTube. You have to create the lead capture. So what kind of calls to action are you using right now that are working?
Yeah, so the biggest mistake you can make is having too many calls to action. And I
Yep.
made that mistake for a really long time. I was like,
Like what's too
make
many?
sure to like this, make sure to subscribe, make sure
Oh.
to blah, blah, blah. Like, don't ask them to do too many things.
And then they're like, I don't know which one to do.
I had a coach that was like, don't just stop telling them to
But if
subscribe.
your goal is to just have subscribers,
But he's like, don't tell them to subscribe. They'll subscribe if they like your content or not. Like they're not going to decide, oh, I should subscribe because she said so. So
it's like,
usually,
oh, she said subscribe.
yeah, it's a pretty simple like format that I use. So the videos all start with like a hook, and then
So
kind of
tell
like
everyone what a hook is and pretend we're all like kindergartners here.
yeah, so the first like 20 to 30 seconds of your video is the most important thing. You want to say something that's going to catch their attention and make them want to keep watching the video to find out. And the more controversial or like a hot take that you can make it, the better. But don't like just don't be like controversial just to be controversial. Like
Right.
I hate like clickbait stuff, and so I make sure mine is never like clickbaity. And I think people can see through that. But if you have a pretty like powerful opinion about something that is maybe your unique take on it, like lean into that. So your first like 30 seconds are super important. So that's your hook. And then give that hook some context. So your intro overall should be like roughly a minute. So usually I start with like a hook, a
You think a
context,
minute, really?
like 45 to 60 seconds.
Okay.
So a hook, a context statement to that hook, like what does that mean or why does that matter to them? Like what's at stake here if they don't watch this video or if they don't take action? And then a little quick introduction on yourself. I've actually stopped even like saying my name 50% of the time because I'm like, oh, my name is everywhere. Like they can figure that out. But like, why are you the authority? What do you know about this? Why should they listen to you? And then I usually give kind of like a teaser of like what they can expect in this video. So that's my intro. And then I try to keep the videos like 12 to 15 minutes long. The longer, the better if you can keep people watching because the more time you have of people watching your videos, the more YouTube is going to promote your videos because they
Right, because the longer the watch time.
exactly. So I used to do like 7 minute videos, and now I've gotten closer to like 15, sometimes even 20. In the middle of the video, I will always have a CTA and that call to action, and that is for a relocation guide. Download our
Yeah.
relocation guide. And I usually mix up the messaging around that. I'll say, hey, let me save you some time. We put together a relocation guide. Here's the QR code on screen to download that. That's our main lead capture. And then the rest of the video And then at the end, there's two simple things that happen at the end. And I used to get way too wordy at the end. I would be like, if you watch this video and you liked it, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. And it's like, it's too much. I usually just have like one call to action at the end. It's like, hey, if you found this valuable and you want to talk a little bit more about your specific situation, like let's strategize, feel free to reach out. My contact information is in the description. And then after that, I will always direct them to another video. So then usually it's like, hey, if you watch this video on the top 5 Boston neighborhoods and you're still not sure which one is right for you, check out this video on the top 5 Boston suburbs if you're thinking of the suburbs. And then you can link the in
You
the end.
can link it. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
So you have a QR code. Okay, so you have a QR code. It's also in the description in case they want to click it if they're on their phone.
Yep.
So you have a QR code and a link in the description. Goes to a landing page, right? Okay, and they fill out their information. Is that where most of your leads are coming from?
Yeah. So that was, I would say 95% of our leads have come from there, but I've actually started to get a little bit more traction from other avenues now. So
Like email and texting
I have
and
a
calls
phone number specific to YouTube that's like on my YouTube channel. So I know if I get a call at that
from
number, it's
YouTube.
YouTube.
Oh, that's good.
And I started, well, in the beginning, I was getting just spam calls, so I would never answer them. And then I started to get like legit calls. I just got not last weekend, the weekend before, I just got a call from a $2 million cash buyer. They're like, watched all my videos, want to work with you. Like, we met, did a buyer consultation. They're signed as clients now. And I almost didn't even listen to the voicemail because I was like, it's just spam. And then I've started to have people like reach out with questions, like through email with like questions. Oh, I watched your video and you mentioned this community. Like, can you send me a property that's for sale there? Like, give me more information, that kind of
And
stuff.
these are real solid, motivated because they're doing this, without being forced to register,
Yeah.
you know.
Honestly, the really awesome thing about it is if they actually, especially if they're relocating, if they actually end up moving, there's a very, very high probability of them working with you. The only area where we've seen that we've lost leads is if they're moving for work and they're tied into a relocation package,
Yeah, that makes
have
sense.
to work with a specific relocation agent, which is kind of sucks. It probably happens like maybe 25% of the time.
So Amanda in the chat is wondering if you got a different phone number or is it a Google like a Google like what service are you using for that?
So our CRM that we use is Brivity, and we can set up
Oh,
as many vanity numbers as we want through Brivity. So it's just a number I set up through there.
Steve is asking when does your QR code show up? I mean, I've watched a bunch of your videos and I usually see it within like the first 90 to 120 seconds.
Yeah, it's usually in the middle of the video. When I say middle, it's probably closer to like the first third of the video.
Yeah, it's definitely, I've noticed a trend. Like it's definitely not like half.
Yeah,
It's probably yeah, depending how long the video is, it's probably, yeah, like a third.
yeah.
So if you're doing a 10-minute video, maybe put it in there at the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like magic to it. I'm not always like, if I'm doing a 15-minute video, it goes in at the 7 minute and 30 second mark. Like it's
Well, you
just
don't want
kind
to
of,
put it in the middle of a sentence, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like it could be like 3 minutes in, it could be 5 minutes in, it could be 6 minutes in. It doesn't really matter. It just
Yeah, for
usually
sure.
like where it makes sense to kind of take a pause. Think of it like a commercial to your video. Like where does it make sense to maybe take a pause in what you're saying and
Yeah,
then
that's a good way to
interrupt
explain
your
it.
video with a commercial for your relocation guide.
I think another thing would be cool is to like leave them with another hook right before you bring that on so they see that commercial, scan it, and then they're waiting for you to tell them what that hook was all about. That could be fun too.
Ooh, yeah.
You're welcome, by the way.
Okay. I might try that.
Hey,
We'll
and
see.
after this jump, I'm going to tell you the worst neighborhoods to move to
Yeah, that's a great idea.
because you do have a best worst Boston neighborhoods.
I
How do
do.
you do a video like that and still be compliant?
So that video, I can tell you clearly didn't watch it. I'm just kidding.
I didn't watch that one, but
I'm joking. So we talk
I've watched a good amount of your videos though.
everything's database. So we talk a lot about lifestyle, we talk a lot about wealth building, and that video is very much about like what neighborhoods are kind of more capped off on appreciation. So
Oh, okay, that
it's
makes sense.
like, don't buy in this neighborhood. This one is like the worst for, HOA fees in this neighborhood are
Mm,
super expensive, or this neighborhood has really hit a growth ceiling. If you're buying the property just for appreciation,
got it.
it's not going to be the best fit. But if you're just buying it for lifestyle, like, ignore
You just
that.
want to live there
It'd
for
be an
30 years
amazing
and don't
fit.
care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I like that. So it's not like, ew, don't move here. Gross.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, this area is like super dangerous. Don't buy here. Like,
No, you
pretty
can't.
sure that would
I'm
be
like,
a
how do you get away
huge
with that? That's kind
fair
of crazy.
housing. Yeah,
Yeah.
huge fair
Um,
housing violation.
that's so funny. Okay, so when a lead comes in through the lead magnet into your CRM, what's the follow-up sequence?
Yeah, so they come in automatically through a Zap through Zapier. So they'll go
Okay.
from the lead magnet directly into my database, and then I set them up on an auto plan. So I get texts right away that like notify me if I have a new lead. And a lot of times I will typically do a text message as an initial outreach, because sometimes these people are like busy, they can't talk on the
Right.
phone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And usually it's just like, hey Nick, this is Kimberlee Meserve with Keller Williams. I saw you downloaded my relocation guide on YouTube. Are you considering making a move to the greater Boston area?
The great thing about it is like they're on their phone because they just scanned your code.
Yeah.
So you get them.
So it's typically a text, and if I can't, well, actually, a lot of times they'll call me right away too once I
Oh,
text them that, because then they just want to chat and they want to tell you all about their situation or what they're doing or what questions they have top of mind. So the response, if you get them right away, they're a lot of times they want to like talk to you right away because they're like, oh my gosh, like I actually got
please
her.
do. Oh my gosh, she's
Yeah, let me
famous.
tell her all about what I want to do. And we'll follow up with some calls if we don't get them. They also get an email automatically sent that's like, it's basically like, thanks for downloading our relocation guide. If you missed it, like, here's the link for that. And then it has, what neighborhood are you thinking? Or like, when are you thinking of moving? Just respond. Like, we can set you up on an email. And then there's just like a series of things over the next few days, more texts. We set them up on like a market report, excuse me, and listing alerts. If we haven't talked to them and we don't know where they're looking, we'll just give them like a general one. And then after that, like if they don't respond within a week or so, they'll go to like our team pond, and any agent on our team can call them.
Okay, got it. You don't give them too long because I mean they're high intention.
Yeah.
So gotcha. All right. So what does your weekly production process look like? Like or your daily or monthly or whatever it is, like researching, scripting, filming, editing, you know, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I probably spend I would say anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour a week on like the prep process for whether it's like researching or scripting. Some of it depends on how inspired I am or not. Like there's some weeks where I'm just like, I have no ideas for a video, and it might take a while to like look through other agents' videos for inspiration and then be like, okay, like this one seems okay. And then so it's like an hour of prep, 30 minutes if I'm feeling inspired. And then the recording, to do two videos will take me probably like 45 minutes, sometimes an
Okay.
hour if I mess up, and like not mess up in terms of like, I will record and like mess up all the time. Like I'll be recording and then I'll just like say a sentence over again. Like I don't stop and like
Right.
start the whole thing, because that's
Because you
what
can edit all
editors
that
are
out.
for. But I've made the mistake sometimes of like, I've recorded the whole thing and then went to upload the video and like into our editing folder and realized like my mic wasn't connected and like the audio is totally messed up, and then I have to record it again. So that happens occasionally. But yeah, no more than an hour a week to record two videos. So maybe all in, it's like 2 hours a week.
Okay. And you know, this is obviously a big endeavor for one person. So what do you outsource and what do you not outsource?
I outsource as much as possible. Uh,
Okay, good. Let's be
yes.
honest.
So all I do is ideation, script creation, recording. Everything else from there on is like, I don't touch it. So I have a company that I work with that does all the editing. They'll send me like a final draft to approve. I may have a little bit of feedback, and then they handle all the uploading. If I want, they can create thumbnails. Most of the time they do. For a while, I was like testing some, but I got really busy and wasn't able to keep up with that. So they'll do thumbnails, they'll do all like the tagging and everything. And they like do the relocation guide. Like they handle so much. They're amazing. And then I also have, as of like a month ago, I hired a virtual assistant. She does a lot of stuff for us. So one of the things I realized a few months ago was that I had a huge content and like branding opportunity that I was missing because I was spending a lot of time making these longer form videos, and then that was it. Like if you caught me on YouTube, you saw the content, but if you didn't, that's it. So earlier this year, we started doing a weekly email newsletter in that, and that's to our entire database. But that newsletter isn't like your traditional email newsletter. It's not like open houses, just listed, just sold. It almost never talks about real estate from that aspect. We'll talk about what's going on in the market. We'll talk about, like, I always promote the latest YouTube video, and then it's a lot more lifestyle focused. So, like, what are new things coming, whether they're restaurants, whether it's developments, whether it's just like a fun event coming, what are fun things happening that weekend? And then I'll usually do a bit for like homeowners, whether it's like, hey, this is a good time of year to like check your insurance policy, make sure you're not underinsured, or hey, if you're thinking about selling this fall, like let's meet now and we can help you with all the prep stuff. So that the YouTube video gets put in there. I do that, and then my virtual assistant does everything else for content. So she will take the videos, and when I record the videos, I usually spend a couple minutes at the very end recording a few different hooks and call to actions that I can repurpose for social media. Because if you have a 15-minute video and you just chop off 45 seconds from it with zero context to it, like, yeah, you can put it on Instagram, but it's kind of like random with no like
Yeah.
opener or no like call to action. So I'll also record some hooks and some CTAs, and then she'll edit pieces from our long form video and repurpose them into reels for social media for Instagram. So she's also going to start, which actually this is important, is don't put shorts on your main YouTube channel. So she's actually going to start a second channel for us that looks identical to the main channel, where she's going to upload all the shorts. But shorts
What would
can,
be your well yeah, what would be your reasoning behind that?
just to like kind of more of a brand awareness type of thing. The reason you don't want to have them on your main channel is it's like two competing things. So it's gonna mess up your algorithm for your longer form videos. You're gonna potentially attract a different audience, people that are just kind of like swiping through. It can actually hurt your main channel. So I've heard that advice from like multiple people. Don't put your shorts on your main channel, especially if that's like heavy lead gen focused, longer form content. So because we have those for Instagram already, we're just gonna pop them on another channel and see what happens. But we'll turn a long form video. I got a little long-winded here, but one long form video gets turned into the following things. So we take 3 to 4 reels from it for Instagram. We repurpose it into one blog post and then one LinkedIn post, and then it goes into our weekly newsletter.
Oh, I like that idea. So that's interesting about the reels and the shorts and the algorithm, because you have like one you have one audience that's just kind of swiping through, and then one that's actually searching you out and
Yeah.
looking for what you're.
And your goal is to keep people on any specific video. Like I don't fully understand why YouTube ever rolled out shorts to begin with, other than maybe
Yeah, I was
to
wondering, does YouTube even
like
know? Like,
I
why
think
would?
to
Yeah.
compete with like Instagram, but it's completely opposite to everything that their goal is. Like they want, if you have a really long video, they want people that are on one specific video for a really long time because it's keeping them on that platform. But if you have a shorter video, you run the risk of losing users on the platform after they finish that video. Like if I have a 5-minute video, someone watches it and then they're like, all right, I'm bored. Like they close out of YouTube, right? So it kind of is the opposite of what their goal is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let's just kind of like, you know, let's bring it to a head. Because you're giving us a lot of your time, so we appreciate that. So if I'm a new agent and I'm looking to start my YouTube channel and I'm brand new, not a new agent, but if I'm new to YouTube, right? And I want to start out like right now, what should I focus on and where to publish my first video? Like, what should be my goal? What should I be looking at doing or focusing on, or what should I record?
Ooh, that's like a really broad question. I think the best thing you can do is to position yourself as a market expert, whether you are the person for one specific neighborhood in your town, like if you were the
Hmm.
go-to agent, like don't try to make content that isn't focused towards your target demographic. Like make content for your ideal client because it'll track more of your ideal client. Um, I would say like questions that you get frequently, that's a really good place to start. People are always wondering what's going on in the market. Unfortunately, some things that are a little bit more clickbaity can perform really well. Like I just did
Yeah,
a video about like a market crash coming, and I hate clickbait, but it performed really well. And the video was kind of started right off by saying like if you think a crash is coming, you're wrong and here's why. But that kind of stuff will get people's attention. So, yeah, just focus on like the questions that you get asked frequently.
and also hooks are very important. They have to
Hooks
know
are
that you
super
gotta like,
important.
you gotta suck them in, um, right off the bat. So like, this is a horrible example, but let's just say like, hey, here's the five biggest mistakes that buyers make in today's market. Make sure you stick around for the last one because it's crazy. Something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's a hook.
Yeah. And the hardest thing that I have dealt with is like we can sometimes sound like way too smart because we know what we're talking about. So if we're talking about like absorption rate or like different
Yeah,
market stats, like that's too complicated for the
yeah,
people that are watching. And you want to make sure that it's at like the comprehension level of like a seventh grader, essentially. So don't get too into the weeds and the nuances and the language that like we talk about in an agent community because we understand that, but the consumer doesn't necessarily know what that
right.
means, and they're just going to close out of your video.
I was just talking to a coaching client the other day about that because she made a really great video, but there was some like jargon in there, and only I knew what it meant. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So just like take the jargon down a few notches and
Yeah,
call it, yeah,
I struggle with that. A lot of times I'll like take my script and just pop it into Chat GPT and say like is this out of seventh grade reading like understanding level, if not like what should I fix on here, especially in the beginning. Like the beginning is the most important. You can get into some of that jargon later on as long as you don't overdo it, but if you're heavy with jargon right up front, you just instantly gonna lose people.
So, Kimberly, if anyone wants to send you referrals, because there's a question in the chat, your email is Kimberly with
Oh,
two
that's
E's.
nice. Yeah, I can type it into the chat.
Okay. And Devin, she doesn't want to say what video company she uses here, but if you email her, I think she might tell you.
Yeah, pop my email address in the chat.
She's, there's certain things she's keeping close, but
Sorry.
you know what it's like? It's like when you find a great babysitter. You get this because you're a mom now. When you find a great babysitter and everyone's like, "Oh, who's your babysitter?" I'm like, "I'm not
Yeah,
telling you.
I know.
My
Sometimes
babysitter."
you gotta gatekeep things. That's just life, unfortunately.
So Kimberly at streetpropertyteam.com. Email her with any referrals, anyone moving to Boston. If you have any questions about this this YouTube, and make sure you get to the point. You know what I mean? We all busy here. You know what I'm saying? Um, just make sure that you're mindful of Kimberly's time as well. So she did this out of the kindness of her own heart. So we appreciate that. Great. Well, this has been awesome. Drop in the chat if you learned a lot and if you're gonna start jumping on YouTube. I would love to see who learned a lot. Let us know.
One last piece of advice, if that's okay.
Yeah.
If you're not doing YouTube because you hate the way you sound, well, I'm sorry, that's how you sound. And if you're not doing it because you hate the way you look, that's also, you just look that way and everybody else can already see it unless you're going to walk around with a paper bag on your head. So in the beginning, it's really easy to be super self-conscious. Like I would
Oh,
cringe. Sometimes I would come downstairs in my house and my husband would be watching my videos on our big like 70-inch TV.
oh my gosh.
Instantly just like, oh my God, shut this off. Like I can't listen to myself. And now I'm just like, whatever.
He's like,
But
I'm watching my favorite channel.
it's really sweet because my daughter will be like, Mama. It's really,
That's so cute.
yeah.
You're like, if you don't like the way you sound, too bad, because that's what you sound like. And if you don't like
Yeah.
the way you look, that's what God gave you.
Yeah. Unless you're walking around with a paper bag on your head, we can all see you. So those are lame excuses not to do YouTube.
Totally 100% true. If you enjoyed this, it'll be sent out to everyone who registered over the next couple days. It'll also eventually be on the Eisenhower Coaching and Training YouTube channel, probably in a week or so. But if you registered, you'll get the replay before anybody else. So, Kimberlee, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you tune into the next Plugged In, which we'll be doing in a couple weeks. We're talking all about AI with my business partner, Tristan Ahumada. So that'll be fun. But Kimberlee, have a great day.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.